Hey everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a large family living off-grid in Australia. Christmas, that is what all the videos at the moment are about, is Christmas treats. Now, I have a Ninja Creami, so we make ice cream quite regularly. And we have been a predominantly, my camera just cannot sit in the right spot, is it? We've been a predominantly dairy-free family for a long time. We have introduced dairy in a lot of different ways, cheeses and things like that. But where I can and where we're comfortable doing so, I still use dairy-free because it means less potential for there to be issues. Some of the kids have had varying levels of allergic reactions to dairy throughout their lives. It was a lot worse as babies, and we had quite a few that were hospitalized, failure to thrives and things like that because of damage to guts from dairy and stuff like that. But as they've gotten older, they've tolerated more. Under an allergist, we introduced a bunch of different things. So we've now introduced cheese. So the kids can have like proper grated cheese on their pizzas, and I can make some of those casserole bakes that are always nicer with the cheese in them and things like that. But one of the things that we've still maintained to be mostly dairy free is ice cream. So I buy these 5-litre containers of ice cream, the 5-litre containers of coconut cream, from Hello Pure. I buy them by the case. I think it's for 5 kilo goon bags. They're a goon bag inside per box, and I get them delivered to mum because the shipping to mum is quite cheap, and we do this regularly, a few times a year. We buy tin coconut cream as well because it's more convenient than opening a full 5 kilo bag. Once these are opened, they do not have a tap on them. So once these are opened, you should use them within a week, I suppose. A few days, I think it says on it, but honestly, in the bottom of our chest freezer, I've probably had it in them for a week and a half to 2 weeks. It's coconut cream. Like, so long as there's no mold or anything else, I'm not overly concerned. It depends on your own comfort levels. But once I open one, I try and do things with it fairly quickly. So today's task, we're going to be making a whole bunch of Ninja Creami tubs of ice cream. Now, I have about 20 tubs or 18 tubs. I purposely bought a whole bunch so that I can do a large batch of them. They can all go in the freezer and they're there for a couple of weeks. The idea is that I'm going to make a whole bunch of different flavors. I'm going to get them all in the freezer, and then tomorrow's task is making cookies, and we're going to do ice cream sandwich cookies. I think it'll be fun. It'll be something different. I'm even thinking that I might be able to spin the ice cream so that I can show it on camera, and then I can fill the cookies and we can put the cookies out on a tray. Might even be able to like put the edges in sprinkles or something, and then potentially, or maybe even like crushed Oreos on a chocolate one or something fancy, and then put them on trays to flash freeze in the freezer again, and then put them in Ziploc bags, and the kids can just go and grab a cookie to serve themselves with like a sandwich cookie. I think that'll be fun. It's something different, something that I haven't done. We have made ice cream cookies once or twice, but not kind of to this scale. And I wanted to use one of these tubs out. This is out of date. As I said, comfort level, I don't care. It's in a foil goon bag. It's coconut cream. It's really not an issue so long as it's still sealed in here, which it is. The foil bag, it's it's air sealed, there's no oxygen in it, and it's perfectly fine. We just haven't opened one in a while, so I'm going to open this up and we're going to make some ice cream. Now, it is cream, not milk, so it does end up pretty thick, so I do tend to water it down for ice cream, because with the Ninja Creami, if you've got too much fat in it, when you spin it, you almost get butter. It has a real greasy texture to it because of the rate that it's spinning, so you're almost turning the solids to a butter. Less so with coconut cream, but even with the coconut cream, you sometimes get a sort of a greasy sensation when you're eating it. So we will water this down a little bit to make our ice creams, but we're going to make custard-based ice creams predominantly because I have plenty of eggs that need using, and in this weather they go off, like they start developing into chickens, even on the bench. So I need to use some eggs up, but also we're going to try some flavors. I'm going to do a salted caramel one and a gingerbread one and maybe a pistachio one, and so we will see how we go. I'm going to use my Thermomixes predominantly. These custards can be made on the stove. I'm going to use my Thermomixes because it's simpler. That's basically it. But they can be made on the stove, and because they're going into a Ninja Creami, it really doesn't matter if they're lumpy. So that's half the battle of doing a custard on a stove, is that they quite often end up lumpy if you don't temper the eggs properly, keep them whisked and all the rest of it. But as long as you're not, you know, it's not full of scrambled eggs, if it's a little bit of a lumpy custard, it's not going to matter because the Ninja Creami is going to whiz it all up into a really smooth texture anyway. But I'm going to use the Thermomix because I have a Thermomix, and my SD card just ran out of space, so I just had to clear some. I also accidentally swiped one of the other directions, and my camera apparently has breathing compensation, so let's give that a go and see if that stops the breathing sounds that everyone complains about. Anyway, I have a Thermomix, I have 2 Thermomixes, so we're going to use them because in custard wise, you throw everything in, you turn it on, and it makes a custard for you, and it just makes my life simpler. So we're going to do double batches, and what I might do is fill both Thermomixes, run one as a double batch, and then run the second one as a double batch, and then while the second one's running, I'm going to use the first one to like flavor it and stuff like that. So I meant to buy a big bunch of basil because one of the favorite summer ice creams that we normally make is basil ice cream, but the garden has not. I had a whole bunch of basil seedlings, but I didn't get them potted up, and it's been really hot, and we haven't got the new garden space, and none of it's particularly usable, unfortunately, so that's fine. But we're just going to do a few other flavors, and so yeah, I'm going to get myself set up and then I'll bring you back. All right, first up we're going to do a really simple gingerbread ice cream. So we're going to add, we want about 1.2 total cream / milk. So I've just added a little bit of water to this jar because it's just so thick. So we're going to do 800 grams of the cream mix, and then I'm going to top up with some water and take that up to 1.2. All right, and then we're going to add some vanilla to that one. We're also going to add some sugar, and we're going to use coconut sugar because we want that malty, you know, gingerbread flavor. And I'm going to put about 180 odd of that sugar in. 150, 100 to that sort of mark. I'm then going to add some golden syrup. I'll do about 80 grams of that, I reckon should be enough. Getting all these gingerbready flavors. I'm going to put 4 egg yolks in here because, again, with using the Ninja Creami, if you have too many egg yolks, it just doesn't work quite as well because it just ends up a bit too soft. And then we're going to put some ground ginger. I'm going to do a scant tablespoon of ground ginger and about a heaped teaspoon of mixed spice to give that gingerbready flavor as well. And just a pinch of salt. I think that's all I'm going to add. Just like that. And now we're just going to cook it. So now all I need to do, which is the whole thing about the beauty of the Thermomix, is to put the lid on. We're going to do it for, say, 10 minutes at, say, 90. And we'll start at speed 2, but I might kick it up to 3 as we're going, depending on the sound of it. And we're going to let that custard cook. And I'll pull together the ingredients for the next one. So that one's cooking. Now I will not run both cooking at the same time. Our power will not tolerate that, but I can fill this one ready to go. So we've got those roasted peaches from yesterday. That's going to be the next one here. Now I think what I'll do is I'll cook it and then I'll blend the roasted peach puree through. I don't think I'll cook it with the peach puree. I just don't think that that's a good idea. I just think the flavor will be better if I cook the custard first. So we're going to make basically my basic vanilla custard, I think, is all I'm going to go for. The basic vanilla ice cream that I always make. Yeah, just my basic ratio. So we're going to do the same thing. I will do 800 grams of the cream, and then I'll put 400 grams of water in here as well, just to thin it out a little bit. do think I'm going to put just a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum in both of these though, because we want them to be really nice and smooth and good texture if we're going to be having them with the cookies. So we just put 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum in each of those. I'm going to turn this up. I prefer my custards done on a faster speed. There we go. So we've got 1,200 grams of milk and cream. We've got our 4 egg yolks again. We're using some duck egg yolks here too, so they're nice and big. Some vanilla. And then we've got some sugar. Now with these roasted peaches, I'm going to stick with the coconut sugar because that'll add nice flavour. And normally I add probably the same as the other one because the peaches are sweetened as well. So we'll go for about the 150 gram mark. Oh, I need to get a jar out for this. I keep on forgetting. Yeah, so it's about a cup. Sugar in there. Pinch of salt. And just, yeah, we've got just a really basic vanilla ice cream there. And once this one is done, I will start this one. All right, this one has finished. Now, again, because it's going in the Ninja Creami, the custard doesn't need to thicken up a whole lot because it's going to be blended, but you can see it does have some thickness to it. So that is perfectly fine. So now we're going to turn the other one on. Same thing, 10 minutes. 90, speed 3.5 is where I like to have it, 3.5. It is amazing how much quieter the TM7 is to the TM6. It was one of the big things that they touted and I didn't notice it so much, but when I use them side by side like that, big difference. So now I'm going to pour this into the Ninja Creami tubs. Again, texture is a little bit lumpy on this one, but it doesn't really matter because it's going to be blended. I don't know why it's gone so lumpy today. What has caused that? But if I was going to be using this on my compressor ice cream machine or something, I would want to adjust the texture. But because it is using the Ninja Creami, it really doesn't matter. Now I thought I had these measurements correct, but the thing is that I didn't add any, like I'm going to add peaches and stuff to that one, and didn't add any mix-ins to these, did I? So I'm just going to even these out a little bit and top them up with a bit of extra coconut cream, and we'll just mix it, because again, the ratios aren't super important because it's going through the Ninja Creami. And then the idea is to have the gingerbread oatmeal biscuits is the idea for these ones, I think. And with that, it will you'll get the sweetness and the flavour of the biscuits as well. So just going to do that. Mix them up a little bit. It is the beautiful thing about the it's these three here. It is the beautiful thing about the Ninja Creami. I spent a lot of time mastering custards and trying to get the ratios right for using the compressor ice cream machine. And if you don't get it just right, it really just doesn't work very well. But you can blend just about anything with the Ninja Creami and still have ice cream. I think it's a wonderful thing. I know that, you know, it's a bit of a gimmick, but I really think it was well worth the money. So we have 3 gingerbread done. That's the other thing about doing bulk once too, is that I can do multiples of each flavour, but because there's multiples all up, they've got plenty to use. So I'm going to do that for the moment and put these aside to cool a bit before we fill up the freezer with all these hot tubs. Other one's cooking. Right, well that one is cooking. We're going to get ready to get the next one started. So I'm going to do a blueberry cream cheese one. So I'm going to put all these blueberries are frozen. I'm going to put about 250 grams, I suppose, of blueberries. Like that. And then I'm going to put a bit of sugar with them. Put about a cup of sugar with those. And I'm going to cook them down into a little bit of a syrup once this one's finished. In the meantime, I'm going to refill my coconut milk jar. All right, so the vanilla has finished. So I've got this peach puree as well. So all I'm going to do is pour it into the max line-ish and give that a spin. And now that is basically a peaches and cream, roasted peaches and cream ice cream. So we will fill the tubs. Just like that. Now these jugs are about 2.2 litres and these creamy jars are about 700 mils, so it makes sense that if I go up to the max line, that'll fill 3 of them pretty much exactly. So we've got that. So I will probably freeze the rest of the peach puree to use in smoothies or something. So those 3 peach ones are done as well. Now I put the blueberries in here with that bit of sugar, and all I'm going to do is cook them for 5 minutes just to break them down a bit on sort of 90 degrees and just let them break down a bit because they were frozen. All right, so the blueberries and sugar have cooked down. This is what we got here. So what I'm now going to do is just make the vanilla base again, and then I'm going to pour the blueberries in, and I'm going to add some cream cheese. So this is going to be like a blueberry cheesecake type one. So we're going to go the same process again. I'm going to do some vanilla, about 800 grams of the, oh, my scales aren't up, 800 grams of the cream, which is just splattering everywhere, and 400 grams of water, up to that 1200 mark. We've got 4 egg yolks, in there as well, a pinch of salt, a tiny bit of xanthan gum, and a cup of sugar. Actually, I'll only do half a cup because we've got the sugar and the blueberries as well. So that, and then we're going to put the lid on, same process, 10 minutes, 90, speed 3.5, and we let it go. All right, so our vanilla ice cream is done. So now we're going to add back in all the blueberries. And I also have a brick of cream cheese. So I'm going to put that in there, and we're going to spin it again on 2.5 probably. I'm going to take that up. 3.5, get that all mixed together and into tubs as well. I didn't hit record. I turned the camera on but didn't hit record. So the last one was the blueberry one. It is all done. So there's blueberry cream cheese. There's still some chunks of cream cheese and stuff in here. It doesn't matter because it's going through the Creami. So it'll all get blended up when it's in the Creami. So we've got 3 of the blueberry cream cheese, blueberry cheesecake type ones done as well. And the next lot that I do, I'm going to do cold ones, non-cooked. So I'm going to get myself sorted, get them all together, and we will mix those ones up. All right, so I up the last of the Creami tubs that I've got. Some of them are missing lids, but we will make do. And I'm going to do them all with the same base, and then we're going to flavour them. So I'm just putting about 25 grams of cream cheese in each pot. Oops, I put 2 in that one. So I just cut 1 brick up into 10 pieces, because that's how many I've got left here, and put a little cube in each one, about 25 grams. All right, now I'm going to do some, I have some milk from the hamper, some cow's milk from the hamper, so I'm going to do some with cow's milk and some with coconut cream, just because I can and I need to use that up anyway. So I might do these 4 with cow's milk, these ones with coconut cream. So we will put some in each of these, finish our goon bag. So the whole point was to basically use this whole goon bag today, or most of it, and the rest can be used from the fridge, but I wanted to use nearly all of it. All right, so that will do for those. Then we will use just plain cow's milk. All right, in those ones. All right, so I have passion fruit curd. You're awfully close to me, aren't you? So I have passion fruit curd that I'm going to use in 1. I don't know if the kids would like it. I will, but I suppose I make 1 for the kids, 1 for me, and if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. So I'll put half this 300 grams, so like 150 grams in each pack, like this. All right, and then we're using the Jello packs because it just works really well for keeping things, the texture of it good. So each one of these is 28 grams, so 1 serve is 7 grams. So it feels to be 2 servings left in here. So we're going to put $7 grams in each. Maybe there's a 3rd one in there. I don't think so. I think I'll just split it between the 2. All right. Just like that. I'm going to put a little bit of vanilla because passion fruit, lemon, vanilla. I just think that will be lovely. So just a little dollop of vanilla in each one. All right. And pretty much that's it. We'll just top them up to get the liquid appropriate once we've blended it. So we'll put them aside. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start filling things. So next one, we have the pistachio, and then we have the pistachio spread. So that's the next one what I'm going to do. I'll grab my scales back out. The kids love the pistachio. So I know I'm working in small space again, Can you guys even see what I'm doing? So we're going to open pistachio. And we will put 7 grams of the pistachio pudding and then 50 odd grams of the pistachio spread, which is gorgeous. I just need a spoon. So we will just put 50 grams of the, which is just sort of a big heaped spoonful. That one. And I'll do one of the dairy ones the same. We will be doing Dubai chocolates at some point too. So there's those ones to start with. The kids, I did get the new Macro Mike flavours. They are the cereal flavours, so I'm going to do one each of those for the kids. So let me grab those. All right, so they had the Kellogg's collaboration, which I think is partly why the kids wanted the cereal too, because we got this. So I'm going to do one each of theirs in this as well. So what we do is we add a serving of the protein powder, and the protein powder has sweeteners and stuff in it, so it doesn't need any added sweeteners, but I do add a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum into these ones because basically does the same thing as the pudding mix, gives that smoother, thicker, less icy texture. So Fruit Loops, Cocoa Pops, and Nutri-Grain. Can't say it appeals to me, but the kids wish to have it, so we grabbed it. All right, so there's those 3 flavors, and they got one left, so we might just do a chocolate, a choc mint maybe, which is always a favorite. We might use the chocolate pudding mix and some of that really nice chocolate syrup that we've got. Now, I got my Ninja Slushie when I did my groceries. I haven't even pulled it out of the box yet, but I have some plans. So once I get this sorted and once I get the cookies done that I wanted to do with it, that might be the next thing that I pull out. And I bought that really nice expensive milk from the fruit and veg store, which I'm going to try making like a caramel frappe, I reckon. But what made me think of that is that I reckon that this would make good milkshakes in it as well. So we did about 60 grams of that. Chocolate syrup in with that, and the chocolate pudding. All right, so I had 2 left of mine, didn't I? So what I thought I might try is this. I've got this butterscotch pudding. I haven't tried this one yet. But I was going to do a salted caramel sauce in one of these and I didn't get around to it. But I think I've got one of those, my Choc Zero salted caramel ones. But do you know what might be nice is the coffee syrup with this. So if we put 7, we're trying to find some, the cooked custards are gorgeous. They're an amazing ice cream, but these nice simple cold ones are good too. Let's try butterscotch, but with some of this coffee syrup, coffee butterscotch. I think that will be really nice. All right, so that's that one. This one was the kids, so I have one more here. Maybe I'll do a choc mint as well, actually. So we'll put the 7 grams of the pudding. We'll put the 60 grams of the chocolate sauce and some mint. So I didn't put any mint in the other one for the kids, so I'm going to do that. So put some mint essence in there as well. And 60 grams of the chocolate. Okay, all right. So we've got that. Now let me tidy this up. Okay, now we have to mix them all. So I grabbed my immersion blender, but the other thing is too that ice cream is never as sweet once it's frozen as it is initially, right? It's just the way frozen treats work. So I am actually going to, because not the chocolate one because that has that chocolate syrup, and the passion fruit one probably didn't need it because of the curd either, but I am going to put a little bit of allulose even in the kids ones, just to, it's only like a half teaspoon, and it is enough just to kick that sweetness up a little bit. All right, now I need to grab my immersion blender, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend them, but then I'm going to top them up as needed to get them to the right line. So I'm just going to go through with my immersion blender and rinse it off as needed and get them all mixed up. So there we go. We have 3 gingerbread, 3 blueberry cheesecake, we've got the passion fruit curd, we've got the Cocoa Pops, Fruit Loops and Nutri-Grain macro mics, we've got choc mint, we've got some pistachio, all these varieties of them, and they're all to go into the freezer. And then tomorrow I'll whiz some up and I'll show them to you, and then I'm also going to make those biscuits and stuff tomorrow, but I'll do that as a second video. Right, so nothing in my house is particularly well set out to share, but this is what we're doing. So these are the ice creams. They've been frozen for 24 hours. I'm going to leave them out for 10 minutes before I mix them up. We have the Cocoa Pops one and the dairy-free pistachio one, and I've got the dairy-based coffee one to give a go. They're the 3 that I just randomly picked out of the freezer, so I wanted to show you just a variety of them mixed up. So this will need to be plugged in probably. It's probably not plugged in. Could really do with it clean, couldn't it? While I'm giving these 10 minutes to soften, I'm just going to give this a wipe down. Alrighty. We're going to turn the machine on for a start. Install one. It's full, and we're going to put it on light ice cream and start. Alright, that's the light ice cream cycle, and it's about 4 minutes. That it won't have been enough. Yeah, so it's a little bit powdery. And that's mostly because I got impatient, didn't do it out for long enough. And we want this to be fairly smooth to be putting on the biscuits, because the biscuits are fragile. So we're going to add a little bit of coconut cream into the middle of this. I will just make a hole in the middle, and I'll just put it, you know, a tablespoon or 2 of coconut cream in there, and then we will give it a respin. So I'll just lock it back in there. So I'm just going to respin it after adding that coconut cream. And because we had a bit of a delay, it's probably gone too soft now, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it up and put it back in the freezer just to firm up a little bit, because I can't put it on the cookies like that. Alright, this one is still a little bit powdery, but I'm not going to add any more liquid to it because it's pretty good. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix it through, and it should be fine. Now, neither of those had the eggs in them. Neither of those were custard based. They were one of the cold ones. I think this one is not custard based either, so I will pull one more out to show the difference as well. because this one I'm pretty sure was one of the cold ones as well that was made with the cream cheese and stuff. So again, I'm going to do this one on light ice cream and run it, and it's been sitting out for about 15 minutes now, which will make it better, but I'll grab one of the custard ones out just to show you the difference between the textures of them. Alrighty, so this one was done on light ice cream as well and had been left out again that little bit longer, and this is dairy rather than dairy free. So that one is the coffee one, and then the last one I'll do, and then I'll take you around the other side and we'll have a look at all of them, this one is one of the gingerbread ones. So this is one of the custard based ones with egg yolks in it. I'm not going to wash the thing. It had coffee ice cream. It's really not going to make that much of a big deal. But what we're going to do is we're going to select ice cream for this one, which is only 2 minutes, because sometimes if you do light ice cream on one that has eggs in it, it ends up really, really soft. All right, and this is what we've got, and you're getting a sneak peek in the background of the next video. So nice balls of, like, comes out a lovely texture. You just have to sometimes remix it, sometimes add a little bit more, but it's worth the effort to get to do it. So we've got 3 different flavors here mixed up. This one had the custard base on it, and it came out after 2 minutes at that texture. Both of these needed 4 because they didn't have the egg base in them, so they're a light ice cream rather than a heavy based ice cream, but they all come out in perfectly scoopable form. So that is 3 of those 20 odd that I made, and I'll see you on the next one.